Can I just ask, squad-wise, is any players coming back for this game, and what's the situation with Maeda and possibly Rogic? It's harder to tell, but with Maeda playing 20 minutes or so today, is there any chance of him playing at all?
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see how he is. He gets in tomorrow morning. So, like I said, he played 20 minutes. I haven't seen the game, and we haven't spoken to him yet. So we'll probably have a chat with him, and then I'll probably have a chat with him tomorrow when he lands and see how he feels. Chance for the squad. Definitely won't start, but chance for the squad. So we'll just see how he is. Tommy will play. He'll play 90 minutes, so you can pretty much rule him out. So he'll be out, and then Biton's obviously suspended, and I think that's it. Cal trained with the team today, but again, not really sure about tomorrow. But I'll make a decision on that later.
It's obviously been a few months since you played Rangers the first time. You've obviously, as a squad, you've made a lot of progress since then. Even as a manager, do you feel you're more confident going into this one because you've had that first experience out the way? And
yeah, not that you felt less confident going there. You know, it was still a pretty tight game when we played them. As you said, it was early in the piece, obviously, and you know we were still very unsettled in terms of, you know, I think we still signed a few players after that game, and I think 2 or 3 of the starting lineup probably left after that game, if my memory serves me well. So it was a different period for us. You know, it's well chronicled, but we've been pretty settled sort of the last 2.5 months in terms of 3 months in terms of our form and our performances and our results. So you know, from our perspective, that's what we want to continue.
Hi, Ange. Excuse me. Obviously, that first game, Steven Gerrard was in charge of Rangers. How different do you think they are? Have you paid a lot of attention to them since Giovanni Van Bronckhorst has come in?
Yeah, I think you've seen with their form. I mean, I don't think in terms of personnel they haven't changed obviously too much, but you know they've certainly become a little bit more solid defensively since Giovanni's taken over. And you know, I guess for him, when you come in mid-season, it's hard to do sort of major changes. I think they were already sort of in decent form and already going well, so you wouldn't expect, and like I said, with minimal sort of personnel changes, you wouldn't expect to be anything too drastic in the way they go about things.
Just spoke to Josip there, and he said that he feels the team are playing the best football you have been. You've won 12 of your last 13 games. In terms of your own form, do you think it is the best time to play Rangers?
I just think we need to keep, you know, like I said before, continue on the sort of progress we've been making. Our football's been good, it's been consistent, and we just need to keep continuing that because, obviously we're still, not in the levels we want to be because we've still got some, key absences in terms of the squad and the lineup. So which doesn't allow us really to rotate the squad the way I'd like to. But hopefully over the next sort of 2-3 weeks we become stronger in that area, and hopefully with that our football improves as well.
And obviously you quite rightly mentioned, obviously you don't want anything for being top in February, but psychologically, how big of a boost could this be? Obviously fans are desperate for a win over Rangers. It's been over 2 years. How much importance do you place on a win tomorrow?
Look, it's important, as you said, particularly for our supporters, because there's no doubting that this is a fixture that they look forward to, and particularly at home, they want to have an enjoyable night, and that means us performing well and us winning. The whole psychology of it. I mean, I've been around long enough to know that should we win, on Wednesday night, the first question I'll have Thursday morning is, does this mean you get complacent, or does this mean you get you have some sort of edge? So the reality of it is that it's an important game. It's an important game for us and this football club for a number of reasons. One, most importantly, it's important for our supporters. Secondly, we've got a chance to go top and climb up a position, which will be good. But after that, we've got to dust ourselves off and go again on the weekend.
Are you also relishing the prospect of a full house of all Celtic supporters? I imagine it's going to be a noisy night.
Yeah, looking forward to it. They were noisy the other night, and it should be great. I'm sure our supporters they got denied the chance of watching the derby last year, so and at the beginning of this year. So having a full Celtic Park rocking tomorrow night will be great.
Ange, can I just ask you, is there any chance 𝙤𝙤𝙢𝙚 will be involved, or is that not a possibility?
I said 𝙤𝙤𝙢𝙚 weeks away. I'm not a liar, so let's be clear about it. I don't want to be asked every week. I said weeks away a week ago. Weeks means weeks, and he's got a similar injury to Dave Turnbull, as I've already said, and he's been out. Well, you can do your own maths, so I'm not going to give exact timelines, but no point asking about 𝙤𝙤𝙢𝙚 every week because nothing's going to change. He's out for a few weeks, and once we get closer to him, you'll see him out training, and we'll go from there.
And as has been mentioned already, there's obviously a lot of excitement around this fixture, which has been building on the outside. How have the players been on the inside this week on the build-up?
Well, to be fair, we've only had 2 days since the weekend, so we obviously had the day off after the game, recovery, and then we had a couple of sessions. So, and today was really the first full session we had with the players. But I'm sure they're looking forward to it. But our preparation doesn't change. Our preparation's the same. Make sure that we monitor how the guys are going and give them the work they need. The ones who need extra work, the ones who need a bit of freshening up, and make sure everyone's ready for tomorrow.
And how are you personally before your first home derby as manager? Do you get nervous? What's it like for you as head coach, as manager?
No, I think I think I've gone beyond the sort of nervous stage. I'm looking forward to it. Yeah, I mean that's the reason you're kind of involved in football, and it's one of the main reasons I relish the opportunity to take over this football club, because you're involved in big games and with big crowds, with big consequences. Like I said, I'm past the sort of nervousness stage, which doesn't mean I don't still get very excited by it and look forward to it. Like I said, it's why we do what we do. It's we're all passionate about football, but we love living the big moments, whether that's as a supporter, a player, or a manager. So I'm looking forward to it.
I know I think you're a coach that likes to go up against the best, have his players go up against the best. What do you make of the arrival of 𝙤𝙤𝙢𝙗𝙗? I don't know whether he's going to play tomorrow or not, but a bit of a marquee name coming to the Scottish game. Yeah,
it's like I said, he's a quality player, and he's obviously I still think he's a very good player when you look at the level he's been playing at for the last couple of years, particularly. Obviously, club-wise, he hasn't played a lot, but even when he last played for the national team in the summer, he still looked a very, very good player. So, good for the league. But I think ultimately with all these signings, whether they're high profile or not, it comes down to performances. I mean, no one had heard of 𝙤𝙤𝙢𝙚 before I brought him here, but no one's going to tell me he's not good for the Scottish game.
And sometimes before derby games, some of the talk can be that the form book goes out the window, and particularly with this one. Is that something you agree with, or do you think 9 times out of 10 the team on form generally gets the result? Yeah,
look, I understand why people say that, because they're big games, but my thing, again, just my experience is you'd much rather be in good form than not, because good form means that you've built some sort of foundation going into what is going to be a challenging environment and a challenging game. So, if you kind of go in there with not the greatest of form and hoping just to turn it on because it's a big game, it can happen. But I'd much rather be in a position where you've got good form going into it. You've got some really strong fundamentals and a really strong foundation, because what you do know is it's going to be, there's going to be some tension out there. There's going to be some, the pace is going to be quick. There's going to be some physicality around it. So all those kind of things, are going to challenge all the players out there. And like I said, from my perspective, the fact that we're in good form and we've built a strong foundation, I think helps us, address those things.
Getting the late winner against Dundee United was a boost for yourself and for the players. Is it now just about them carrying that momentum through into this game?
A little bit. I mean, like I said, I think we've been on a good run for quite a while, and we've had different kinds of challenges all along, and we had another challenge, as you said, on the weekend against Dundee United. But as I said, after the game, the players find a way to get the job done, and I think that's that can only be a positive for us, because we know we can be better. We know we can improve. Like I said, some of it is because we just don't have the personnel at the moment. We've had to deal with some, some absences of players, which we're still dealing with. But through it all, the players have shown great resilience and determination that, irrespective of what the challenge is out there on game day, that they'll find a way to overcome it.
Hi, Ange. There's been a lot of talk about the importance of Callum McGregor and whether he'll play or not tomorrow. How important is it for the club that we have more than one leader on the pitch? For example, we also have Joe Hart.
Yeah, it's important. I think that's having somebody like Callum is a great asset for every club, because he drives and lives the values that you want. But I've often said, and I always say to the group, leadership comes in many forms. You can get leadership from the youngest player out on the pitch, because it could be an act of bravery, just an individual action that raises the levels for everyone by example. So leadership just doesn't come down to age and experience. Obviously that helps in many respects, and as you said, we've got people like Joe and others who help in that area. But on any given day, it's also about how everyone stands up in their moments. Leadership is 𝙁𝙪𝙡𝙚𝙚, having the composure to put the ball in the back of the net to inspire everyone to a victory. So I'm really big on giving the responsibility to all the players, that when they're out there, it's not about waiting on others for action. They can instigate it themselves, and within that you get some leaders all over the place.
I think you touched on even young players can be leaders. I mean, the likes of 𝙤𝙤𝙤𝙚𝙤𝙚, who's settled in fantastically well at the club, even as you mentioned, Abada. So how important do you think the likes of 𝙤𝙤𝙚𝙚 will be tomorrow as he plays in probably his first massive game for Celtic at Parkhead?
Yeah, look, it'll be a great experience for him. And as you said, I thought he showed fantastic composure the other day. He's played 3 games in a week, him and Rao, that probably at a level they hadn't experienced before, 2 or 3 games. And for guys like that, the more we can expose them to this sort of environment, and they adapt, the quicker their development. And I think tomorrow night there'll be a few of our guys. I think it'll be their first derby and at home, so I think they'll all be excited, looking forward to it. And as you said, living that experience and being, provided they stay positive through that, then it helps them grow, just not as players, as you said, it helps them grow as people, because you just feel a little bit more confident about yourself when you've been in the sort of hottest of environment and you've come through it successfully.
One thing you seem to have stalled in this team is like a real confidence and a real belief in themselves. They've got this will to win, and it doesn't seem to matter what circumstances they're up against, whether it's Leverkusen or Betis or down to 10 men or 0-0 with 5 minutes left. This Celtic team chase wins. How do you maintain this? Because this sort of run of great performances has been going on for a while now. As a manager, what are the challenges to maintaining that?
I think you just keep feeding into sort of the environment and feeding into when things like that happen, it almost feeds into itself. The players gain more belief. A lot of it is just because when you look at the group of players we have right now, the majority of them have come in with a point to prove, and maybe without too much hype around them. So they're all a determined lot, and there's no doubt I try and fuel that. I try and continually push them to allow them to show people that A, they belong at this football club, and B, that they can be successful. So and that happens every day. It happens at training. We push them at training. Every time I talk to them, I'm pretty consistent in the messages I give them, that A, it's part of your responsibility when you join this football club, but B, what a great place to be if you're ambitious and want something and have something to prove, which is, as I said, for the most part, all the players that we've got now, whether they've stayed on or the ones we've brought in, I sense or hear looking to achieve, and you know, I'm going to continually sort of stoke that fire.
What you're doing is obviously working with the players. You know, we can see it as fans on the pitch, and we can see it in these performances, especially against Dundee United. Obviously, you can't talk about specifics, but with Rangers coming up, there is no doubt that they're top of the league, they're the current champions. Will you be changing anything you do in your approach to this game, or are Rangers just another domestic team we have to beat if we want to win the title?
Yeah, no, again, I'm pretty consistent in saying that our approach can't change due to circumstances, whether that's domestically in Europe, irrespective home, away. You know, I'm big on, you know, sort of consistently saying to the players that we need to believe in something, and if you believe in something really deep to your core, then you don't change. You can't change, even if you want to, because it's just part of you. And you know, in the context, that could be during a game. If you're 1-0 down, or it's 0-0 and we need a goal, we don't need to change our approach, because our approach is the same from the first minute. Is that we go at the opposition, we try and score goals, and you know, sometimes when you have a different kind of approach and you find yourself in a circumstance where you're either having to chase a game or defend, if you start chopping and changing what you do, then I just think it leaves you open for being vulnerable. And as I said, we're not there yet, but I can sense that the group and everyone is starting to believe in something, and that's what I'm big on, because once you've got that belief, as I said, it doesn't matter what happens, it can't be shaken from you. You know, when something is part of you and you feel it to your core, then whatever it is in life, it would take something very extreme to take you off that path, and that includes, for me, the kind of football we want to play and the kind of football team we want to be.